2 rounds and 90 minutes of competition greeted the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama competitors to wrap up the 2014 season at one of the most daunting, fearsome, and exciting tracks of all, Road Atlanta, as part of the Petit Le Mans weekend. With 40 points on the line coming in, there were 4 drivers covered by 20 points, still at a shot for the overall and platinum championship. The 15th round had already completed. As you can see, conditions absolutely awash here today at Road Atlanta for the final round of the championship. Temperatures in the upper 60s, winds not very high, but rain forecast for the event. But in the 15th round on Thursday, it was an amazing start by Michael Lewis, the white Curb Records competition car, getting inside the orange Porsche of Bucks County Kelly Moss, entry of pole sitter Colin Thompson, and moving into an early lead. Back in the Masters category, Jeff Mosing started from pole, and he would have an exceptional run all the way to the checkers. There were the occasional incidents. The 09 here, Blair Chang, one of our gold class competitors, getting it a little bit wrong at turn 1. As the tires were overheated, he got it righted, charged a little too deep into turn 3, and went off track again. Now the tires dirtied up as well. But the big moment was, as our leader, Lewis, hung up behind the lap car of Mike Levitas, down to the inside, a huge move by Angel Benitez, and Benitez comes through and picks up his class-leading 5th win of the season, and that brought him to within 7 points of the points leader. Benitez with the win. Lewis was second, and Thompson falling to third. Flipped the margin, only 1 point separating Lewis from Thompson. In gold, it was Mosing on his way to a win, but a second place finish by Patrick Otto Madsen brought the gold class championship to Patrick Otto himself. However, Jeff Mosing still with a shot at Gold Masters. But as you saw, it was an absolutely fabulous day for round 15. Round 16 today, a little bit different conditions for these drivers to be dealing with as they roll off on their pace and parade laps. Race control wisely saying, we're going to give you 2 pace laps here today before we actually go green for racing, as they have not had an opportunity with a warm-up to get out on this damp track. And it is damp. It has been raining on and off, and is going to be raining. That's the forecast anyway for much of the race. So that's the conditions that the drivers are going to be dealing with here. Here now is that point scenario. Lewis, by virtue of that second place finish, and Thompson third, ends up now 1 point in the lead. Benitez only 7 points out of the lead, and at this point, that's the story. In the gold category, Patrick Otto Madsen already with a clinch, only 20 points available in this round, so Mosing and Levitas are going to be fighting it out for second. But those same 3 drivers, Mosing, Levitas, and then you just saw Fred Portad, they are in a huge battle for the Gold Masters. Now let's take a look at the different classes. Platinum for the brand new 991 platform-based GT3 Cup car, the gold class for the 2010 to 2013 variants based on the 997 platform. The difference, minor improvements in a variety of areas: handling, aerodynamics, car width, stance, but also horsepower for those platinum cars. But perhaps most of all, they have a paddle shift system, no lift, so they can shift anywhere, and that has proven very beneficial. The cars are tricky to get pace out of, but when you do, they are definitely quicker than the gold category cars, thus they run as platinum. And we are just about to go racing, as we said now. 45 minutes left in the championship, 20 points on the line, 3 drivers covered by 7. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to a wet Road Atlanta for the final round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. And the qualifying based on second fast lap in the qualifying session held earlier in the event. Colin Thompson for the 2nd straight day starts on the pole. Michael Lewis alongside. So basically our 2 championship protagonists separated by 1 point. Lewis over Thompson own the front row. Sloan Urie has now been eliminated from the championship, but he is always wicked quick in his number 20 JDX Hertz racing machine. And Angel Benitez, as we said, only 7 points out of the lead. So should anything happen to those lead 2, he still has a very good shot at things. And of course, they're going to be racing on a track under conditions right now they have not seen at all this weekend with these wet conditions. And again, they did not have a morning warm-up in these conditions, so they're going to be kind of hitting it cold here. And as you can see, track knowledge, knowing where the puddles seem to form on this track, is very important. There are turns like turn 6 we're looking at with that banking. Everything runs off the track. It's fairly grippy. So there's lots of different scenarios that could play out. Plus we have a gold category battle as well that will be unfolding in this one. And that Gold Masters is separated, 3 drivers separated by only 5 points. So it's incredibly close. We're going to be watching how this unfolds. Up front, though, Randy, for those two, Colin Thompson and Michael Lewis, they are going to be obviously very much dueling for the front of this one because of visibility, I would think. You've got to get to the front. That gives you much clearer view. So this run at the start, I think, is going to be spectacular, and two great charges up there with Colin Thompson and in that competition motorsports entry, Mike Lewis.
Yeah, and you know what? Michael Lewis was a big winner at COTA in the rain, the Circuit of the Americas, indicating he may run very well here too. He pulled the field there at Circuit of the Americas.
Yep, he's definitely seems to have that skill set. Word is, lights out on the pace car. Watching the field, they're making their way down into turn 10, so we should be ready to go. Good look there, those lights are out. The field in that side-by-side run-up here. This is, you know, kind of sketchy because you've got guys that are going to be not on the position you want to have when you come down that hill through turn 12 in that side-by-side run. Ooh, and you can see Mike Lewis spinning up those rears a little bit. And I think that's, you know, on purpose, trying to find, where's the grip? What can we do with it here? But again, his nemesis, the two guys separated by 1 point, share the front row, and we are green. Thompson rolls into the throttle a little bit early. Yuri in that black and gold Hertz machine. Wow, and he loops it, as does Lewis.
Trouble.
Oh my. Thompson is away, Lewis sloshing through the moisture with him spinning cars everywhere, trying to avoid. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them that are off track here on the front straight. Couple have damage too. Yeah, Yuri.
Mike Lewis.
Yeah, boy, unbelievable. Lewis looped it. Yuri was already going behind Lewis.
Yeah, just not enough traction in the wet. And you know what else you can't see? So the back of the pack is driving right into the carnage.
Yeah. There's some pretty significant damage. The car that's moving down the front straight right now, the back end of that car's got a fair amount of damage. And right now, Michael Lewis, I don't think he ever quite got into the barrier. The problem is he's stuck over there in that wet grass. It kind of tilts downward toward that big pit wall. That's the pro pit wall. And he just can't get any grip to drive back up onto the track, Randy.
I think I saw Lewis skimming that wall.
Oh, yeah, you can see a little damage to the wing end plate, etc.
I don't know if he's going to be able to keep running. That was really unfortunate, and it's part of the challenge of running in the rain. It's slick out there.
Yeah, Yuri, well, you know, and coming down.
Look at the rivers here.
Yeah, and that's,
they get out
Thompson
in that water.
Avoided it, didn't he?
Yes, Thompson was inside it, but Yuri and Lewis got in that river, and then it just kept degrading from there.
Yeah, and it looked like Yuri,
wheels up,
like Thompson was going to be okay, and then, excuse me, Lewis was going to be okay, and then right at the end, he just tinked the wing on that back barrier. And the other car there, I can't tell, that might be Seth Thomas, who looped a little bit different angle here, Randy.
Actually, there's less damage than I expected, to tell you the truth. Oh, no, Lewis took a solid shot.
He pancaked it flat, though. That was good. Oh, Casey Coleman, the other car that looped it, our Masters champion.
It really was not as bad as I thought, frankly, as bad as it is. I'm sure everybody's okay. Lewis did get a good little side shot.
Yeah, and Yuri broke the right front corner when he got into the wall.
Oh, so he's done.
Again,
wow, do the math.
Yeah.
That's going to change the championship a lot. Angel Benitez is still out there, right?
Benitez is out there.
Colin Thompson's out there.
Yeah, so Benitez third in the points, Thompson second in the points. So huge opportunity here, because even if they get Lewis moved and he can continue, well, he's out of the car.
Yeah, I think he realizes that car's done for this race, and it's such a challenge, and it's such an advantage to be up near the front for Colin Thompson to be on pole. Good place in today's race.
Now here's a treacherous moment, obviously, as the safety vehicle, you can see it leading the field down through this area of the track. And now Colin Thompson gets the word, all right, proceeds.
Holy cow, look at Mike Levitas up there in about 7th overall.
Wow, did he get a great
benefited
start.
From it.
Yeah, he did. 7th is exactly at David Ducote as well, up to 6th in that gold car. And Randy, this might be an opportune moment. We really didn't get a chance to explain too much. What sets a Platinum class and a Gold Cup car apart? Let's start with the Platinum car.
The Porsche GT3 Cup has existed for many years, and they always run the latest and greatest from Porsche. The 911 has a 50-year history this year. 50 years of Porsche 911 since 1964, always evolving. It's a car that you can still recognize. You park it next to a 64 and you know it's a Porsche 911, and it's always been the same car. Probably the world's best sports car, certainly one of them. And So when a new model comes out, the classes change a little bit, and that's what we got. The Platinum is for the brand new 2014 Porsche 911. It's an all-new car, a little teeny bit more horsepower, only about 10 more horsepower.
But in these conditions, of course, Randy, rain is the great equalizer. Horsepower isn't necessary. Car control is. We'll find out who's got it when we come back. Stay with us, folks. Lights still on the pace car here at Road Atlanta for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge by Yokohama. Here is Colin Thompson right behind him, Angel Benitez. Now for Thompson, remember, he was 1 point out of the lead. The main guy he's been racing in the points looks to be done. The other issue, of course, is Benitez is the other challenger. And here's another look at what happened. You can see there goes Lewis, there goes Yuri right behind him. And Randy, as both of those cars let loose, the issue is whether or not they're going to be able to continue, and I'm not sure they will.
You can see that Mike Lewis actually bent his tailpipes over too, and what a drama.
Unbelievable.
So for the championship, we've still got Colin Thompson out there, and Angel Benitez.
Yeah, and Benitez, I mean, you think about it here, he's 6 points behind Colin Thompson. The point swings are by groups of 2. So, he has to get in front of Colin and have a couple other guys get in front of Colin to make this one viable. But we have seen all day, we had that prototype lights race where front runners were throwing it off. I mean, things can happen in these conditions. And for Benitez, talk about experience. He's one of those guys, he's been around the championship for a few years now. He understands that game, and it was such a savvy move he made for that win yesterday to get by Lewis. These conditions, he might be able to play to his strengths.
Well, not having these top cars out, Sloan Uri and Michael Lewis, are guys that likely could have finished in between Angel Benitez and Colin Thompson. That actually goes against his chances of this championship. But, I mean, the odds, look at what can happen. And we didn't even get across the start line, really, before we had trouble. So it's still completely up in the air, and it's still a matter of making it to the finish. This is a sprint race, but it's not that short.
No, it's not. You're right.
You got to run for a while out there and survive.
Yep.
To finish first, ye must first finish.
Absolutely. And a guy that could mix it up in this is Jesse Lazar. He had at his home track at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, was the first track he went to this year that he knew, and he put on a great show. Pole, win, I mean, a good run there. This track is one of the closest in the United States to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Yes. He's been fast all weekend. You have to think, being a Quebecois, that he's got some rain experience up there, so he's going to be somebody. And Christina Nielsen, she's a very savvy driver, has done a lot of racing in Europe, and with what's unfolding here, I mean, they're third and fourth in this order. So right now, for Angel Benitez, if he can get in front of Colin Thompson, Lazar and Nielsen are his best friends and best hopes at this point. Report is, as we see the lights out on the pace car, Randy, we're going to be going back to green.
Fabulous. And if I'm Colin's crew chief, I'm telling him, if you get a lead by yourself, go for it. But if Angel Benitez is all over you, get him through and then just stay in the ballpark. Because for Colin, it's much more important to win this championship than it is to win this race. And he'll be better off keeping his risk low. And if he's got Angel all over him trying to win the championship, he's going to be in a position of higher risk, and things could happen that could be bad for him.
That is absolutely right. So, I mean, it's big picture thinking, and that's the experience of the Kelly Moss organization. They've been at this for a long time. They understand how this plays out. So we're getting ready to go back to green at just under half an hour left in this one. So as you said, lots of racing yet to unfold here. And the pace car making the move into pit lane. We are green. Field coming down the hill. Colin Thompson, and he's been doing that car, the way he's squaring that corner up, he's being very mindful of that. Christina Nielsen making a big move down to the inside into turn 1, trying to get underneath Jesse Lazar. Watch for it on the exit. She is through, and let's see if she did. Nice pass. Christina Nielsen now up into third. Jesse Lazar slips back to fourth, and Mike Shine right there in that fifth spot as they're up and over turn 3, and now the run through the S's at speed.
That was impressive. Christina Nielsen not worried in these wet conditions. She just went for it. It rains a lot in Europe. Green over there too.
Absolutely, and she obviously has some experience, and she's had some great runs, a big second place finish at Lime Rock, and has had some very impressive speed. And the thing is, right now, you know, we're not seeing obviously as much spray as we saw in that prototype race a little bit earlier when it was really raining rather hard. So the visibility is not as bad, plus they have windshield wipers, but it still is an issue.
Visibility is the #1 factor when you race in the rain. Hopefully their inside windshields have been properly prepared. I know the Porsches do come with a defroster, but it simply blows air. I mean, they don't have the heat and the air and all those luxuries. Colin Thompson really asserting himself at this moment has generated quite a lead. And you can see them going down the middle of the racetrack in the big brake zone for turn 10. That's because it's used less, and it probably has better grip.
Well, I mean, the line, obviously you get rubber embedded into it, but it also polishes the aggregate in the asphalt.
Right.
Great for grip on the slick tire, but when it gets wet, it's just absolutely, so you want it down there where it's damp, you know, offline a little bit, where the hot dog wrappers and stuff are. That's where you can find some grip, obviously. Oscar Arroyo just putting a nice pass on the number 68 of Wayne Ducote, qualified 6th or 8th and 9th in the Gold Cup category. So putting on a good show there. Oscar in that orange car with the white along the bottom, and Ducote in the blue and yellow machine. So no matter where you look here in the field, you're going to see some absolutely fabulous racing. But the big story, of course, is that what's happening up front. And whoa, nice move around the outside. David Calvert-Jones just trying to pick spots off at this point.
The further outside you go, the better the grip will be, but it's kind of scary out there. And you know what, look at Colin Thompson. Thompson is comfortable in the rain. He went 2+ seconds faster than Angel Benitez on the first lap.
Yeah.
He's not waiting around. He's going for it.
Well, I think that comfort factor you're talking about, obviously they've given him a great setup, the Kelly Moss Porsche Bucks County team, but also that visibility issue has to be playing huge for him. So we take a look there at Mike Levitas, who is, again, trying to wrest away that Gold Masters Class Championship if he can, and having an awfully good run here today. But for, again, Colin Thompson up front, there he is. Obviously, clear track, now's the time to go, because should a yellow come out, should something happen, you want to be able to have a little bit of protection. We'll be right back. Colin Thompson continues to lead here in the final round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama right here at Road Atlanta. There is Angel Benitez running second, and they are the only two left with a shot at the championship. They are running 1-2 right now, and without doubt, these two are clearing off from everybody else at the front of the field right now. But when you're leading, obviously, he's got a quick car, Randy, Colin does, but he's also the first one to get into some of the situations. He's
got the speed, but with speed comes risk. And in these conditions, all it takes is a moment and you're off, you're gone. And we're gonna see a lot of lapping in this race, I expect, if we can run without yellow, because the speed differences will be so great. There are some cars running 11 seconds a lap slower than our leader, Colin Thompson.
Well, and the other side of the coin is as the leader of the race, you're the first one to run through there. And a lot of times you'll see somebody that could maybe lead, just tuck in second and go, I'll let them find those slippery spots, and then I'll just up my game a little bit and react. So at this point, though, I think Benitez, if that was his plan, he'd be a bit closer than he is to Thompson right now. I think this is just Colin Thompson showing what Colin Thompson's capable of.
I'll tell you, it's impressive. He's obviously comfortable in the car, and I'm watching his line to pick out where I'm going to drive in a couple hours in the next race.
I was gonna ask you, how much benefit is this to you to be sitting up here watching this race, knowing you're gonna be starting, I presume?
It helps. Yes, I am.
So yeah, you're seeing what it might just be like out there right now, and we're watching again. This guy has been very impressive, David Ducote, but you know what? That car in front of him, you'll recognize that one, a guy named Mike Levitas.
My old friend Mike Levitas, we won the Rolex 24 at Daytona together just a couple of years ago, and so far so good. Look at him wiggling down through the S's.
Boy, he is pushing it. I mean, his last lap, he ran a 140.4 to Ducote's 41.3. And keep in mind that since Ducote joined this championship, after starting in Platinum, he switched back to a more familiar car, the Gold Cup car, and he's been just a podium machine here and strung together some wins. So Mike Levitas in these conditions really on form.
And he's going for it. He's online in turn 7. He didn't go wide. That's interesting, and it's working for him. Ducote, a big winner at Road America when he first showed up, plus his home track, I believe, and he was terrific winning both races there. As we watch Colin Thompson down into turn 12, the fast sweeper onto the front straightaway. 100+ miles an hour in the wet. This guy is impressive. No wiper. Look at that. That's interesting to me. You usually treat the windshields with a treatment, probably your classic Rain-X.
Right.
And I don't like to run the wiper until I have to, because it can smear the windshield.
Yep.
And also, I see better. The Rain-X just takes that water right off the windshield.
Yep, and you know, as he is right now, he really hasn't hit traffic at this point, so not a lot of spray he's got to deal with up on the windshield, which tells you that the rain certainly has abated quite a bit at this stage of the race. And yeah, he's just continuing to clock those laps off. About similar margins now. You take a look, it's almost 5 seconds from Thompson to Benitez, and another 4 back to Christina Nielsen, who's built a 2-second lead over Jesse Lazar in the number 31 at this point. And so, you know, for Benitez, he's got to be frustrated right now. He knows this, you know, his beautiful opportunity here for him, but boy, has Colin Thompson responded.
Colin Thompson has got the setup, and he's got the confidence. And Road Atlanta is all about confidence,
Yes.
especially in the rain. So it is working for him. I'm impressed.
Well, how could you not be? I mean, just look at the pace he's been setting. There's Benitez, not able to do much with Colin at this point. And then Christina Nielsen, who we've been following in that number 25 NGT motorsports machine, is closing in just a little bit on Benitez, keeping things interesting, keeping the pressure on. Is Colin Thompson on his way to a championship? Not many laps left. Stay with us. Great battles going on throughout the pack here in this final round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama at Road Atlanta. Rain actually lightening a little bit here. Still wet conditions on the track. And this is an absolutely fabulous battle. That is Oscar Arroyo driving the JDX Mexico sponsored machine out front. Then Bill Pelichewski and that great U.S. Air Force, or Army, I guess, Air Force fighter from the World War II era, liveried car, always spectacular. And then Blair Chang right behind him. These guys having an absolutely superb race. And Randy, they've been going after it absolutely tooth and nail. And the interesting thing is, it may not be for the lead, but that doesn't mean it isn't an absolutely fierce battle.
And they get their moment of glory.
Yeah, a little TV
International
time.
TV.
Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic. And again, we need to say a shout out. We, talked about the Yokohama tires and the ENVR2, and just the remarkable performance from the most environmentally friendly of tires that you can imagine, folks, due to some amazing technology using orange oil. But how about Porsche Motorsports North America and the support? They conceived of this years ago and said, we need to bring one of these Carrera Cup championships to North American shores, and it has proven to be a huge success. But much of that, Randy, is because of the support that Porsche Motorsports North America gives, not just the series, but these competitors individually when they need help.
These cars are making almost 500 horsepower. We got a pass attempt. Pelichewski down the inside into 10.
Boy, and he got it done. If he can hang on to it, he did. Boy, he read that absolutely, those conditions. It was at the absolute edge of grip, but never exceeded it. Laid that pass on, picks up that 7th spot from Oscar Arroyo.
What I was starting to say is that these cars, they're quick and powerful and they're reliable, but you got to keep them pointed the right way.
Yeah, that's Dan Wayland, I think, in the number 11. It looks like he just did what we were talking about, tried to make the turn. Car snapped around on him. He really isn't in the gravel, so I think he may have just stalled it as opposed to being stuck at this point.
Got a lot of steering in the car, so he was probably trying to catch a slide when he went off. That's turn 10B, the beginning of 10B, as our leader, Colin Thompson, threads his way through.
Full course caution coming out, Randy.
All right, well, that's going to bunch the field back up under a changing track condition, so the restart could bring anything.
Wow, Colin Thompson is going to see those double yellows and go, no, 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 no. Because we know one thing, you get Angel Andres Benitez close, give him opportunity, Mike Lewis will tell you he can make the move. This is not what Thompson wanted, man. This is interesting. And of course, it's going to bring Christina right up to the tail. Lazar, Shine, the whole gang is going to be brought up, and we have 18 minutes remaining. That should be a very fast cleanup over there, getting Wayland out of the way. And so we should definitely have some racing to unfold yet. This is, I guess it's just getting real interesting.
Oh yeah, it changes everything. Colin Thompson's hard work to get out into that lead is all wiped away as there's going to be a restart.
Yep, so as we are under caution, it is Colin Thompson in the number 14 leading. He's the point leader. Well, he's second in the points, but of the remaining competitors, he's got the highest point total. The guy who's 6 points behind him now is Angel Andres Benitez, who is second in the 05. Christina Nielsen sits in the 3rd spot in the Platinum class. Back in 7th, your leader in gold is the 35 of Mike Levitas, followed by the number 6 of David Ducote, and the number 24 of Mark Yano, 7th, 8th, and 9th overall. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to see exactly what's going to happen. And I mean, we saw that pass Christina Nielsen laid on Jessie Lazar on the restart if she senses opportunity. So Benitez, the problem for him is that he's got to be paying attention both ways here, because if he tries something and gets it wrong, Christina's going to be gone.
As we see, Dan Whalen got it running and is rejoining the fray.
Good to see for that Kelly Moss driver. Wayland underway, but for the competitors in the class battles, the entire tenor of this race has just changed. And you can see Benitez looking for grip. Smart man trying to find any opportunity he can. And there is Christina in waiting, ready to go after it. We'll be right back. Lights are out on the safety vehicle. We're going back to green here for this final round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. And as you can see, even though the rain is virtually stopped, it's still damp out there. Drivers trying to get some heat into these tires for the restart. But then you've got to be careful about getting them too hot during the race, maybe looking for water around this track. And obviously, you never like to see a caution, but there was absolutely nothing else that could have been done with where Wayland's car was setting. But Randy, at this point now, for some of the drivers, obviously, this is the silver lining to the caution, is they are back into it. This is an opportunity to move up just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it's not a silver lining for Colin Thompson.
Yeah, well, true. He's the one that didn't want this at all.
Yeah, it's a race again. And Angel Benitez is a guy that can bring it to him.
Well, we're about to find out as the pace car now down into turn 10. Field making its way through 10A. It'll be up through 10B, and then we are back to racing, and the clock will hit just about exactly 13 minutes as the pace car is in pit lane. Field coming out from under the bridge at turn 11. Green flag, and Thompson had actually just rolled into it a smidge. That was very smart. He got enough of a gap, and now he is on his way. Now let's see what happens. Yeah, that was a perfect start, Randy, for Colin Thompson. Jessie Lazar thinking about a little retribution with Christina Nielsen, but he wasn't quite close enough.
Yes, Colin Thompson timed it just right, got a little bit lucky, got a little bit smart, and I'm happy to see it. Looks like the whole field's gotten down through 1. Once we got rolling, really the drivers are not having too much trouble. I shouldn't even say that. Yeah, boy. Because the grip,
walking the line, my friend.
The grip of the Yokohamas on this track seems to be really impressive to me thus far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the drivers understand and are driving, within the limits, which you need to do in the wet. You want to get to it, but you don't want to exceed it because, as you said, just the slightest twitch and you can go. But I think you're absolutely right. I think the grip of these Yokohama ENVR2 reins is really superb.
I can tell they're not tippy-toeing out there. You can see the body roll, and you can see David Calvert-Jones is still at it without the rear body work. It's just a cover.
Yeah, he got around Mark Yano on the restart, and now is coming after David Ducote. Again, he's a platinum guy. Yano, Ducote, Levitas are all gold category cars, so David Calvert-Jones is having a great run, and we just got a report from the corners. The reason that Thompson maybe got that little gap early was right before he popped into view for us under the bridge. Apparently, he and Benitez gave him a little tap.
Oh, well, that's that strategy on a start. Go, stop, go, stop. It may have been Benitez tapping him as much as it was him backing up.
That's what I was going to say.
Benitez.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, wow, it's close.
Look at this. Christina Nielsen is upping the ante and going after Benitez. Colin Thompson, boy, look at that lap time, a 35.2 on his first flyer. Benitez a 37.4. So Colin Thompson just that fast, 2.5 second lead. This kid has been superb in these conditions today, no question. But for Benitez now, he has got Christina Nielsen hounding him in a big off by the number 24 of Mark Yano.
Having a good run.
Yeah, he sure was. The Warriors live by a code. Momo machine from NGT Motorsports. He got into the barriers, but we'll have to see how rough it was, Randy. Here's a look at it. Just ran wide.
Down in turn 1, once you get on that Georgia red clay, so look at that. The car's not slowing down at all. Fortunately, Road Atlanta's got a nice, thick, banded tire wall there. He's probably too damaged to continue. Maybe not, actually. Mark should fire it up and see what happens.
Boy, those tires doing their job. He is back and underway. That averts the full course caution.
That's great.
It is.
We're racing, and Colin Thompson really impressive up front.
Yep.
He is a rocket in the rain.
Oh, he is that. I mean, every time we've had from the start of the race, the restart, he just finds speed immediately in these low grip conditions. And as we talked about, first into these corners as they change now, you can see it's dry, then there's the spots they run over the water. And this is a delicate situation to be pushing that hard in, and yet he is absolutely confident in the pace he is showing, and none of the guys behind him. And there are some good drivers in this group. There's Santiago Creel chasing. They have not been able to close up and make any kind of a push. Colin Thompson has things at least covered at this point. We're into our final 10 minutes of the season, and Thompson leads over Benitez. Come right back with us, will you? Final few moments left in the 2014 Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama season. Here's a look at Mark Yano, our gold competitor, who was trying to come back after his off over in turn 1 a bit earlier. Meanwhile, this is Colin Thompson, the Porsche of Bucks County Kelly Moss machine, over in turn 6 and now 7. And Randy, I got to ask you, are we seeing a little bit of race management?
Colin Thompson may be doing what is smart here. He's got the speed to get a gap and then back off a little bit and keep the risk low. Racing is risk management. You got to know when to use it. You know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah, Colin Thompson, I think he's playing it smart right now, and he's got his team in his ear helping to guide him.
Well, and that's part of it too, isn't it? There's remarkable coaching that's provided through the Kelly Moss team. Thompson is a sponge. He absorbs it and applies it beautifully. And it's interesting when you take a look at I think that's David Calvert-Jones finally getting by Mike Levitas. That's David Calvert-Jones in the Platinum Porsche getting by Levitas in the class-leading gold machine. So Calvert-Jones continuing. That puts Calvert from dead last after that original start incident with the damaged car back up into absolute 7th spot overall. That is a great comeback drive by David Calvert-Jones. But what I was going to say, Benitez last year, ran with one of the multi-car teams, and this year they decided to do their own team. It's a one-car program for his family. His family, Formula Motorsport, Avid Motorsport team was the Leaderjet support. So I think what he's doing this year has been absolutely remarkable, considering he doesn't have the resource and just that multiple data comparison that everybody else does. That's where Porsche Motorsport North America, frankly, helps, because they have data and they will work with these guys individually. So, but what a season they've done as a single-car family-run team.
Really impressive, because that's not easy to do. As we watch Mike Levitas still battling it out in the gold category with David Ducote on his heels there. Ducote was close. They're going back and forth a little bit. It's a race.
Yeah, they are. It's swapping, and right behind those two, you can just every once in a while see Jeff Mosing. There he is, Jeff in that yellow car with the burgundy highlights and the yellow M for Mosing Motor Cars, and he's right there. And he had a great run yesterday, winning that class from pole in yesterday's 15th round of the championship. And I think he's just, sitting back there and hoping that Ducote catches Levitas and that they get into it a little bit, and then he may be able to benefit from anything that might unfold. You bet. Things can change in a moment. You can see the gray mist that flies up behind the cars. Faster they go, the more there is. And at the end of the straight, a lot. Oh no, Mosing goes through the gravel. There we go. And keeps it going. The curse. He is a little aggressive in the brake zone. Does he still have his splitter? He may have lost his splitter down there. He does. So he got away with one there, didn't he? Yeah, he tried a little too hard. Now has opened up a big gap there, but he did get through the gravel and return to the racetrack, the shortcut run. Levitas still leading over Ducote down in the gold category. Timing is everything. You wonder, did he lose his splitter? Well, he kept his, but right after you said that, the corner at 10 said, just to let control know we have 4 splitters that are piled up in the turn 10 area down here. So, wow, this battle is continuing again. This is that Pelichowski Arroyo Cheng battle here. There is Oscar Arroyo running in that 14th spot, and they've got a train right in front of him is Pelichowski, but then Cheng, Williams in that group as well, and Fred Keimer. What a string of cars here. This is fantastic. This is Mike Levitas' TPC teammate in the Merkel car there, David Williams, duking it out under tough conditions. But I'm not seeing these Porsches sliding around. They're putting the power down. They've got grip. The car and the tire are working in wet conditions. I think so, absolutely they're working. As the number 23, I think that's Fred Keimer, has to come down to the pits. Not exactly sure why. But yeah, as I said, I think everybody's driving at but not over the limit here, and they're making sure not to spin those tires up too much when they feed the throttle. Boy, did you see that? That, I think, was the 0-2 of Fred Portad back in 5th. He is really now starting to move around looking for moisture on the track.
Yeah, as David Williams picks up a position down the straightaway, got a good run off of 7 and passed Arroyo.
And of course, he's battling for a top 10 position in the platinum category. Everybody around him running in that gold class, and he's sort of split them a little bit. And that's going to give Portad right there, who's got big pressure from Pelichowski right behind him, an opportunity to maybe draw away. Meanwhile, up front, Colin Thompson, he's maintaining his margin, but Benitez right there, a bit closer than we've seen. But the story is Benitez has been able to make good his escape from Christina Nielsen. So now it's Benitez after Thompson. We'll see in a minute. The rain is picking up at Road Atlanta, throwing another wrinkle into this final round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama as we are about to head into our final 3.5 minutes. There's the margin. Colin Thompson, the orange. Kelly Moss, Porsche Bucks County machine. There is Angel Benitez in that leader jet. Avid Motorsport, Formula Motorsport, family-owned team, and he is staying close. But Thompson just seems to have the measure. Down through turn 12 we go. Benitez chasing, and a little bit of sprints there. Thompson, I think he may have dropped the tire, and it has cost him. Look at the gap suddenly closed. Benitez coming after him. That cost Thompson a huge chunk of momentum. And now, well, on that lap he had closed it up, but now it is gone. The margin doesn't even exist anymore. It's a car length as they head into this section of S's, and again, a damp track, conditions changing. As the leader, you're first into it. Do you let him go, Randy? It's only a 2-point swing. You'd still win by 4, but you like to win a championship with a win, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Benitez right on the bumper of the leader, Colin Thompson, who has almost got the championship in his grasp.
Boy, in this battle for 4th, Mike Shine has come up. Is that Mike or is that Casey Coleman?
That's Lazar, and I think that's Shine right on his tail.
So that battle is shaping up big time now for 4th. Christina Nielsen's got a lonely 3rd at this stage as that Garaga door doctor car up into turn number 6, now 7. And onto the throttle. Turn 6 is a deceptively quick. Oh, look at this, side by side for the lead. And Colin Thompson, he's got the inside line down into turn 10. But again, we're big picture. Make sure you don't let him get into the back end and knock you off the track here. And boy, Benitez is fighting hard for this one. He knows he needs to win. Then he needs Thompson to make a mistake of some sort. Benitez, did you see him tried to spool it up, Randy?
Yes, he
did. And then the backs just spun up a little bit here, and he couldn't quite get the run. Thompson
took the risk, outbraked him, outran him down through 12 with a little wiggle in the middle of the corner. Thompson wants to win this race.
I'll tell you what, I think they got underneath that check or the start stand with enough time to do this lap, get the white flag, then one more. So 2 laps. We're getting confirmation. White flag next time by. So Benitez has 2 laps essentially to see if he can figure out a way by Thompson. And Thompson has to hang on. And again, I think you've got to always be mindful, big picture. Boy, look at this battle continuing. Portad hanging on in front. Oops, and Oscar Arroyo. Come on, buddy, get it through that gravel. Don't stop, because that's a caution.
Keep your speed up.
Nice job. Nice job.
He made it the off-road through the gravel. Thank goodness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because up front, we got a heck of a battle. Colin Thompson gapped Benitez slightly, but Benitez trying a different line into 6. He's on the toilet bowl ride around the outside. He's going to try the same thing in 7. And that might be what got him up next to Thompson last run.
So he's trying to flush things out here and get this one to work. I had to
ride
go
the
there.
rim.
Yeah, the rim shot, absolutely.
Right around the rim.
Well, that's what I was going to get at with turn 6. It's deceptively quick in the dry because of the banking, but in the wet, that outside line, because the water moves off of it, it's real grippy, doesn't it?
It does, but it did not do the trick.
No.
Benitez not quite within range. Colin Thompson looking really strong under braking in 10A on the last lap. Opened up a tiny gap again as they go through 10B.
No, and they came by last time, but Benitez had turned that down into a 0.4 of a second margin. Now it looks like Thompson has been able to find just a little bit, but boy, out from under the bridge in 11, that launch out of 10 that Benitez is getting is a good one. White flag comes out the margin almost exactly half a second as we start our final lap. Christina Nielsen comes through in third. There's a look at your gold and gold masters leader, Mike Levitas for TPC Racing, as he's going to come around and get that white flag as well. But boy, this battle at the front, again, Thompson, if he wins it, it's game over. It's easy. But if Benitez gets through, Thompson still will get the championship. Well, he's pushing though, isn't he? That car is sliding. Yeah.
He's under pressure. He's pushing. He wants to win the race and the championship. I'm surprised, frankly. He's going for everything.
Yep, he's made his choice, and will all he has to do now is basically a half a lap. Here's that run into turn 6.
It's all on the line, though, on that slippery track. Never knowing what you're going to get as they enter turn 7, a little wide to get the grip on the outside. Benitez not within range without a mistake, but Thompson drifting it all the way off the exit.
Boy, he is after it, and the thing is you know, I think he feels the groove right now, and sometimes you start changing things up, let somebody through, get off line, rhythm goes away, suddenly you're skating through some of this red Georgia clay, and you don't want to do that. Now into the part of the track where it looks like the rain's a little bit heavier here, and down one last time into turn 10, Thompson, perfect. Gets it right to the apex at 10A, at 10B, but here comes Benitez, tried to straighten it out a little bit, but a little wiggle for both of them, and I think that blunted Benitez's attempt. He tried to feed throttle, down we go. Checkered flag flies. Colin Thompson brings home a win, and with it a championship in the Platinum class of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama, and he had to fend off late big pressure. Boy, he earned it today, didn't he?
Very impressive as we watch my buddy Mike Levitas, TPC Racing, coming under the bridge and heading for the finish line to take a victory in the gold class. One more corner. Mike Levitas does it for TPC Racing over David Ducote.
Yeah, fantastic run for him today, and that's got some points implications too. We'll take a look at that. Levitas was only 1 point behind Mosing in the Masters class, and he was 3 points in front of Mosing in the overall cup. There goes the 99 of Patrick Madsen. For him, not a problem. He's already clinched that Gold Cup championship. But Levitas, I think, has done a superb job as this great battle finishes as well. Bill Pelichewski leading that gang through. Couldn't quite get by Poor Dad for 4th in gold, but Pelichewski completes the top 5 in the gold category, and that was fantastic. Now, with Fred Poordad, we're going to have to do some number crunching. Poordad ended up, he rebounded nicely, ended up 4th, and with Levitas winning, Levitas came in 6 points behind Poordad. That might have given Levitas the Masters Championship, which he won last year. We're going to have to crunch some numbers on that one.
After missing the first couple of races.
Right, he ran platinum at Sebring, then made the switch. That's fantastic stuff, Randy.
I am just really impressed with the way this championship turned out, and I'm impressed with the way the Porsches and the Yokohamas worked on the track. Aside from the start, these drivers were hooked up out there. I mean, really, I expected a lot more carnage.
Well, the potential was certainly there for it, wasn't it? But yeah, you're absolutely right. These guys did a fantastic job. Obviously, the team's given them good cars, but these drivers had to get out in very difficult conditions, unfamiliar conditions, changing conditions, and they pulled it off with very little incident other than that start, as you mentioned. We come back, we'll hear from our class winners and our champion. Stay with us. Welcome back. There was a look at Colin Thompson as he pulled into victory circle. He is your champion, and he earned it under excruciatingly tough conditions. That makes it all the more special. We found out just how much so.
It was, you can't ask for better than that. I mean, having the win overall, that put us in the lead of the team championship, and then having the finish in front of Michael and Ann helped put me in the driver's championship lead. So I couldn't have asked for anything better. It was drama, but we pulled it together at the end.
Boy, did he. Drama, man, absolutely at the start, and then to put the drive in, he did. That was special. There are the results. Thompson, Benitez, Nielsen, a very impressive third. Lazar and Shine completing the top 5. 6th and 7th, David Calvert-Jones up from dead last to 7th in Platinum, and that was a win in the Masters class in Platinum. And perhaps most amazingly, sitting there in 8th overall. We talked about rain being the equalizer and talent coming through in the rain. Mike Levitas ending up with the 8th overall. That is the winning gold. Here's what he had to say.
What a great race. My TPC racing car was just amazing. It seemed like it was a little tight on the start, and that start was so hectic. Cars were everywhere. We kept our head down, kept focused. My son was announcing the time. He was giving me call by call the split. And the car seemed a bit tight at first, but I could aim like a half a corner early, and man, TPC, that car just put down power. I felt like I could go for the platinum lead. So, great win, and thanks to IMSA, and thanks to my competitors. Great guys, they made it clean, good racing.
Well, here's a look at the points in the platinum category. There's the margin, 8 after 16 rounds. That's incredible. Lewis third, still even with his off, he had that much of a margin over Yuri and Casey Coleman, who was your Masters champion, clinched a couple of races ago. Now, in the gold category, Madsen, your champion, Levitas there in second. He actually is also second in the Masters category to Jeff Mosing by 1 point. But this is about championships. That means it's about Madsen.
In 2012, ANSA won the gold championship with Angel Benitez, and he's quite a bit younger than me, so I feel pretty honored to be taking the gold championship after 2 years with the same team with ANSA. It's fantastic. I mean, we worked so hard for it, and all season long, we all the gold contenders really kept me on my toes, kept us fighting. But in this championship, it's consistency that really counts. So in the end, that's what we have to do is just bring it home and finish on the podium and get enough points.
That is the formula for winning championships. Win when you can't, earn points. He did it absolutely beautifully. Well, that wraps up a fascinating 2014 Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama season. This final round started a little bit frantic, but it produced some fantastic races. Congratulations again to our champions, Colin Thompson in Platinum, Masters champion in Platinum, Casey Coleman, to Patrick Otto Madsen, our gold champion, and our Masters gold champion, to Jeff Mosing. This entire series will be carried again in 2015. We look forward to seeing you then. Until then, take care, everybody.